All right, so you're prepping for a mobile device technician interview and you want to like totally nail it right. We've got you covered. In this deep dive, we're using RoleCatcher's amazing resources on this role. Everything from the typical interview questions to career paths, and get this, even how their AI can give you an edge.
It's like a cheat sheet for interview success. Think of it that way.
I love that. A cheat sheet specifically for aspiring mobile device technicians. But before we get into all the interview question stuff, let's talk about the actual job. What does a mobile device technician even do? Like, it's got to be more than fixing cracked screens, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a whole blend of being good with tech and also customer service. So think diagnosis, quality assurance, and even dealing with warranties. It's not just about the hardware. You're also solving problems and making sure customers have a good experience.
And speaking of problems, let's tackle those interview questions. Sometimes those can feel like puzzles themselves. Luckily, RoleCatcher has a ton of them, and we've pulled out some of the most common ones to help you prep. Like this one: what experience do you have with mobile device repair? Seems pretty basic, but how do you answer that in a way that makes you stand out?
This is where you really get to showcase your passion and what you know. Instead of just listing off repairs, tell a story. Like you're talking to a friend about a super challenging repair that got you hooked.
Oh, I like that. Like that time you saved a water-damaged phone that everyone else had given up on?
Exactly. Talk about the steps you took the moment you figured it out, how you didn't give up. Interviewers eat that stuff up. They want to see that you're genuinely excited and dedicated.
I bet RoleCatcher's AI could even help polish that answer up even more.
Totally. You can actually put in your practice answers, and the AI looks at them based on the specific job you're going for. It might say, hey, maybe highlight this skill or that experience, stuff that's super relevant to that employer.
Wow. That's like having a personalized interview coach in your pocket.
But for now, let's get back to those interview questions. How about this one? How would you troubleshoot a device that's not turning on?
This one's all about showing that you have a system. You don't want to just guess. Interviewers want to see that you have a process. So walk them through your steps, starting with the simple stuff like checking the battery and the charging port. Then you can move on to looking for any damage or signs of software issues.
So it's like you're a tech detective searching for clues to figure out why the phone's dead.
Exactly. And remember, details matter. Don't be afraid to mention the tools you'd use, like a multimeter to check the voltage, or even special software to figure out if it's a software problem. The more specific you are, the more confident you'll sound.
Speaking of confidence, let's tackle another common question. What is your experience with water-damaged devices? This one feels a bit more intense. It definitely needs some specialized knowledge. You want to start by explaining how you'd figure out how bad the damage is, and really emphasize that you need to act fast. Then go into detail about how you dry it out, mentioning specific tools like an ultrasonic cleaner or isopropyl alcohol. Show off your expertise a little.
And I'm guessing you'd also want to explain how you'd test everything after it's dried to make sure it's working right.
For sure. You want to show that you understand water damage can have long-term effects and that you have a thorough plan to make sure the device is actually working properly.
Okay, so we've tackled a couple of technical questions. But remember, being a mobile device technician isn't just about knowing the tech. It's also about customer service. So let's say a customer comes in with a phone that's completely destroyed and they're obviously upset. How do you even begin to handle that?
Empathy is super important. Before you even touch the device, let them know you understand how frustrating this is. Just a simple, I get it, this is super frustrating, let's see what we can do, can go a long way.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But then how do you actually start troubleshooting without overwhelming them with all the technical terms?
Being transparent is key. Explain what you're doing and why in simple terms. You can even show them the damage so they understand what you're dealing with.
So it's almost like you're teaching them as you go, which helps build trust and manage their expectations.
Exactly. And even if the phone is totally gone, honesty is the best policy. Don't try to sugarcoat it, but always have other solutions ready.
Like what? What if the phone is totally dead?
RoleCatcher suggests having a plan for these situations. Explain their warranty options offered to help them back up their data or even help them find a new device.
That's a great point. Even if you can't fix it, you're still being helpful and showing them that you're there to find a solution.
And that's what sets apart a good mobile device technician from a great one.
Now let's talk about managing all the work, because you're probably going to be juggling a lot of repairs at once. So how do you stay organized and prioritize everything?
That's a classic interview question. They want to know how you handle stress and stay organized. Don't just say, I'm a good multitasker. Be specific. Talk about the systems you use to keep track of everything, like a ticketing system or a priority list. Maybe you use spreadsheets or a whiteboard. Whatever it is, let them know you have a system.
So you're showing them you can handle the chaos.
You got it. And don't forget, communication. Keeping customers informed about how long things will take can really help keep them happy.
Okay, let's dive into another technical question. How do you approach troubleshooting and repairing a mobile device that's been damaged by water? This one seems like it needs a really deep understanding of how the device works.
It definitely does. Start by explaining how you disconnect the battery and completely dry the device. Mentioning specific tools you'd use, like an isopropyl alcohol bath or a special drying chamber, can really show off your knowledge.
And I bet you'd also want to explain how you check each part for damage right.
You know it. This is where your micro-soldering and circuit board repair skills come in. Explain how you check the motherboard connectors and other sensitive parts for corrosion or damage.
It's amazing how this job needs both super attention to detail and also a broad understanding of technology.
It really does. And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answers to these technical questions. The AI can look at the job description and tell you which troubleshooting steps or tools to emphasize for that specific employer.
That's so cool. It's like having a tech expert helping you prepare for each interview.
It makes things so much easier and helps you focus on the skills that matter most to that company.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive.
We've just scratched the surface.
We've tackled some tough interview questions and learned how RoleCatcher's AI can help you personalize your answers. But there's more to come. We'll dive into those AI-powered features in the final part of our deep dive.
Welcome back. Remember we were talking about how a great mobile device technician isn't just a tech whiz? They're also a customer service pro.
Right, because sometimes you're dealing with people who are stressed out about their broken devices. So let's jump into another one of RoleCatcher's sample interview questions. This one asks, can you describe a time you had to deal with a difficult customer and how you resolved the situation?
Ah, yes, the classic tell me about a time question. These are tricky because you need to show them, not just tell them. Don't just say you're good at handling tough situations. Give them a real example.
So it's like instead of just saying, I'm patient, tell a story that proves it.
Exactly. Maybe you had a customer who was furious because their repair was taking forever. Walk them through how you handled it. You know how you acknowledged their frustration, explained the delay in a way they could understand, and kept them updated?
What if things got really heated? How would you de-escalate the situation?
RoleCatcher suggests staying calm, listening carefully, and trying to find some common ground. Maybe you offer them a small discount, or try to speed up the repair if you can. The key is to stay professional and focused on finding a solution even when things get tense.
It sounds like active listening is super important, making the customer feel heard, even if you can't give them exactly what they want.
Absolutely. And that leads perfectly into another question from RoleCatcher's list. How do you prioritize and manage your workload when there are multiple repairs to complete at once? This one's all about those organizational skills.
So don't just say, I'm a master juggler.
Nope. Get specific. Tell them about the systems you use to decide which repairs to do first. Maybe it's based on how urgent it is, how complicated it is, or even how long the customer has been waiting. Do you use spreadsheets, whiteboards, a special app? Whatever it is, let them know you have a system.
So you're showing them you're organized and can handle the pressure.
Exactly. And communication is key too. Keeping customers informed about how long things will take can prevent a lot of headaches later on.
Okay, let's get back to some tech stuff. RoleCatcher also asks, can you explain how you would troubleshoot a mobile device that is experiencing slow performance? This one seems less about hardware and more about software.
It often is, but a good mobile device technician needs to be comfortable with both. Don't jump to conclusions. Start by explaining your process. The basic stuff like checking storage space, closing background apps.
Speaking of background apps, can you explain what those are for people who might not know?
Sure. Background apps are apps that are running even when you're not actively using them. They can really slow your device down.
Interesting. So part of fixing a slow device might be closing those resource-heavy background apps.
Exactly. You might also want to check for software updates, run some diagnostic tests to see if there's malware or errors, and as a last resort, maybe even suggest a factory reset.
You really are like a digital detective, uncovering all the hidden reasons why a phone is running slow.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can actually give you personalized feedback on your answers to these tech questions. It can analyze the job description and tell you which steps or tools to focus on for that specific employer.
That's seriously helpful. It's like having a tech-savvy career coach in your pocket.
Absolutely. Okay, let's tackle this question. How would you handle a situation where a customer's device cannot be repaired? This can be tough, but it's a chance to show how professional and resourceful you are.
Honesty is key, right? Don't beat around the bush.
Absolutely. Explain why the device can't be fixed in simple terms. Then focus on finding solutions. What options would you give the customer?
Like, what if the phone is completely toast?
This is where you talk about warranties, insurance claims, and data recovery services. Maybe you help them transfer their data to a new phone or recommend some good places to buy a new one.
So even if you can't fix it, you're still helping them and showing that you care about their situation.
Exactly. And again, RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answers to specific companies. Maybe one company really focuses on data recovery or has a partnership with a certain phone brand. The AI can point those things out so you know what to emphasize.
AI is really changing the game when it comes to interview prep. It's like having a secret weapon.
I agree. Okay, let's look at this question. What is your experience with soldering and micro-soldering techniques? Now's your chance to shine.
Time to show off those tech skills.
Exactly. Tell them about your experience with different soldering irons, types of flux soldering techniques.
And if you have any certifications or special training in microsoldering, this is the time to mention it.
For sure. You want to highlight your skills in repairing delicate things like circuit boards and connectors. Maybe even mention some specific projects where you used these techniques successfully.
Show them what you can do.
Right. And even if you're not an expert in every soldering technique, show them you're willing to learn and keep up with the latest technology. The mobile device world is always changing, so companies want technicians who are eager to learn new things.
Now let's step back and talk about your career as a mobile device technician. RoleCatcher's Career Guide actually outlines different stages in this career path. What can you tell us about those?
It's pretty cool how this job offers chances to specialize and move up. You might start as a level 1 technician doing basic repairs. As you gain experience, you could become a level 2 or level 3 technician, taking on more complex repairs. Maybe even specialize in something like screen repair or water damage.
I like how they mentioned the possibility of becoming a trainer or even moving into management.
Yeah. As you get more experience, you could end up mentoring new technicians, leading a team, or even managing a whole repair shop. There are so many possibilities.
And those certifications we talked about, like the Apple Certified Mac Technician or the CompTIA Mobile App Security Plus, can help you get those specialized roles and earn more money.
Definitely. Getting certified shows that you're serious about your career and can give you an edge over other applicants.
So it's not just about fixing phones. It's about learning, growing, and building a real career in this exciting industry.
It's about being part of the ever-changing world of mobile technology and using your skills to make a difference.
This has been so informative. We've covered so much from interview questions to career paths, and even got some great tips from RoleCatcher.
But wait, there's more.
We still have to talk about RoleCatcher's AI and how it can give you a personalized edge when you're preparing for your interview.
We'll dive into that in the last part of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
All right, so we're back. And remember that secret weapon we mentioned, RoleCatcher's AI? Well, it's time to unlock its power.
It's not really a secret anymore, but it can definitely feel like you have a superpower when you see what it can do.
I'm intrigued. Let's break it down for our listeners. How can this AI actually help someone land a mobile device technician job?
Okay, so picture this. You've practiced your answers to all those common interview questions. You've got some great stories to tell. But how do you know if you're really hitting the mark for a specific company? That's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in.
So it's not just general interview advice. It's like customized for each job.
Exactly. You upload your resume and the job description to RoleCatcher, and their AI goes to work analyzing both, and then it gives you a personalized feedback report.
Wow. So it's like having a personal interview coach who knows exactly what that employer is looking for.
That's the idea. The AI might tell you to tweak your answers a bit, maybe emphasize certain skills or experiences that are important to that company, or it might even suggest adding some keywords to your resume so it really grabs the hiring manager's attention.
That's amazing. It takes all the guesswork out of tailoring your application. You can really present yourself as the perfect candidate.
And it's not just about what you say. The AI can actually analyze videos of you practicing your interview. And it'll give you feedback on how you're coming across, your body language, your tone of voice, even how clearly you're speaking.
It can analyze videos too.
Yep. Think of it like a virtual mirror. It helps you see yourself how the interviewer will see you. It can point out things like nervous habits or maybe places where you could be more concise so you can project confidence and professionalism.
That's a game changer. It's like having a personal stylist for your interview.
Kind of. And the best part is it's all powered by AI. So you're getting unbiased, personalized feedback that helps you keep getting better.
So it's not just about acing the interview. It's about becoming a stronger, more confident candidate.
Exactly. It's about giving you the tools and the insights you need to really stand out in a competitive job market.
All right, so we've covered a lot in this deep dive. We talked about those tricky interview questions, learned some strategies for handling tough situations, and even explored the amazing power of RoleCatcher's AI.
It's been quite a journey.
But before we wrap up, let's bring it back to the bigger picture. Your future career as a mobile device technician.
It's not just about getting the job, it's about building a career you love in a field that's constantly evolving.
And that all starts with passion, being curious, and a real desire to keep learning and growing. The tech world never stands still, and neither does the role of a mobile device technician.
So be ready for challenges, stay curious, and never stop learning. There's a whole world of incredible opportunities out there in the mobile device world.
And one last thought to leave you with. As you're prepping for your interview, remember it's not just about showing off your tech skills. It's also about highlighting your problem-solving skills, how well you communicate, and how committed you are to giving amazing customer service.
Because at the end of the day, it's about connecting with people and using your expertise to make their lives just a little bit easier.
So good luck out there. We know you've got what it takes to be successful.